All right, welcome back. In a previous video, we talked about how to set up VLANs for your home network and looked at a logical setup for a couple different VLANs for a home network ranging from simple to complicated. Today, we're going to dive into the Dream Machine network application and look at how to actually configure those VLANs from the ground up. And if you're new here, hi, this is Sonoran Tech, where we cover a wide range of tech topics from hardware to home labs to coding and current events. If you like the content, please hit the sub button and leave a comment to let me know what other topics you're interested in seeing. So jumping right into the network configuration, you can see in front of us, I have the UDM network application set up. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through setting up a new network, effectively a new VLAN. I'm going to use those terms interchangeably during this. So I'm sorry, please bear with me, but they are kind of a one-to-one match on the Dream Machine. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the network configuration. So here we have the networks tab open. And so first, forget all the networks that exist. We're going to start simple and just pretend we have nothing. Don't worry about any of these. And we're going to walk through creating a new network. Now, referencing back to the previous video, perhaps this is you want to create a kids network or a separate network for your Internet of Things devices, whatever it may be. In the previous video, what I said is I felt like a good starting point was having two networks, basically a network for all of your trusted devices and then a network for all of your Internet of Things devices like thermostats, printers, things like that. So let's imagine kind of that's the case we're doing it. To go through the process of creating a new virtual network, we come to the screen and we click on, well, new virtual network. Now we can go ahead and name the network whatever we want. So I'll just call it VLAN test. It doesn't matter. And you can choose the host address you want to use, the network mask, or how many hosts you want in the subnet, or to auto scale it or not. In this case, I actually like to choose, I'm going to leave it on auto scale. And then coming down to advanced, you can see it auto chooses a VLAN ID for you. I actually like to pick this myself just so I can organize things, but you don't need to do this. But I will just say I'm going to say this is VLAN ID 55. And remember, you're not going to see this when the network's up and running, but this will be the tag that's added to the Ethernet frame for VLAN tagging. Now, for the rest of this, we're not going to make this a guest network. If you want to set up a truly guest network and isolate the clients on the network from each other, you can use these settings, but we're not going to go into this right now. But again, if you really want to isolate a particular network more, you can look into these settings. The guest network, as it says, isolates this network from other virtual networks not defined as guest networks. Great. An isolate network isolates this network from all other virtual networks using firewall rules. Again, you can use these if you're going for a guest network, but we're going to make a simple internal VLAN. We're going to allow internet access and just leave all these defaults as they are. Perfect. So we have a new network. You can see it's on the subnet 192.168.7. So the question is like, now what? How do we use it? How do we actually put devices on this network? So imagine you have a computer and you're like, I want to put it on the VLAN test network. How do I do it? Now, in this case, we're going to start simple and we're going to assume your machine is on a wired network. And so what we need to do now that we have this network defined is we need to associate it with a port. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to our ports configuration. So we're going to come over to my switch port configuration. And I have a machine that is set up for this demo plugged into port 4. Now, for the purposes of this, it is a virtual machine, but that really doesn't matter. So if we look at the port 4 configuration, this is where you can specify the VLAN or network associated with the port. It is currently set up on the internal network, which is basically like it's the native VLAN or nothing. So we haven't associated this with the network we just created, but let me just show you what it looks like on that machine. So here's the console of that machine. You can see it has an IP address of 192.168.1.185, which is what you would expect since 1 is the internal network. Now, technically, you can configure a VLAN within the operating system itself. There are ways to do it in Windows, Linux, etc. We're not going to show that here today. We're just going to show you how you configure ports and eventually Wi-Fi access points for specific VLANs. So here's what we'll do. We just open this up and we find the network we just created. So VLAN test, VLAN ID 55 right here. We'll leave everything else as is. We'll just apply changes. Great. Now I'm going to come back over to my virtual machine and you can see nothing has changed. So we'll just go ahead and reboot this real quick so it can pick up the new network configuration. So remember before it was on the 192.168.1 network, and here we can see it has changed. It is in fact on the new test network we set up at 192.168.7, and through DHCP it got 185 as its IP address. So now it is clearly on a different network. And again, we can go back and review our network settings, and here are all the networks. And of course, we can see it is sitting on the VLAN test network. That makes total sense. But one of the things we also talked about last time was one of the reasons you would want to set up these different networks is to isolate devices from each other. So imagine this new network has, I don't know, kids devices or IoT devices, etc. So ideally, we don't want the devices on this network talking to other networks. Just going back, so if we look, I do have a NAS network, and I happen to know a device on that is at 192.168.3.10 is an actual NAS device. So if all goes well, we should not be able to communicate with that device because we set up this different network. It's going to be nice and secure. Let's just go ahead and ping that. And 3.10. And that is not what you might expect to happen. So as you can see, we have two different networks and we are communicating across them. So why is that? And this comes down to how the UDM is configured. So this is where you need to go in and set up firewall rules to explicitly block this traffic. For what it's worth, this was something that surprised. Maybe other devices like out of the box block traffic between networks, but at least the Dream Machine does not, at least in this version of the software. So to really segment your networks from each other, you need to take other steps. So let's show you how to do that. There are many ways to do it, but you go into settings, security, traffic, and firewall rules. Now, again, ignore all of my rules here for a second. There's a simple interface here, and you can go into the much more advanced granular rule setting. For today, we're going to keep it simple. Imagine you're setting up a bunch of different virtual networks. You could set up rules here, basically governing the traffic between each of the networks. That's one way to do it. I think that could create a whole bunch of overhead and rule management. As you can see, I already have a bunch of rules. But if you're kind of writing rules for every pair of like network communication, it can be a pain. So what I recommend, and I got this from various documentation I found online, is just start with a rule that blocks all traffic between the networks. And you can see I have it already set up. I had actually turned it off just for this demonstration, but let's take a look at the rule. So I set up a rule that blocks all intra-network traffic. And the source of the rule is all devices. So it doesn't matter where you are, any device on the network anywhere going to any other local network is blocked, right? So this is kind of your base rule, and this stops everything. So let me just show you how this works. So I'll just turn this rule back on. And as a note, if you notice, I selected the destination as local networks, but you see this didn't automatically catch the new network I added. This is a gotcha. You need to keep an eye on this because if you're changing your network configuration, so here I'd be blocking traffic between all networks except for the new one I just created, which defeats the purpose. So we'll reselect all networks. And there we go. Hopefully this gets it that time, but I have seen this expand to an explicit list. So we'll apply changes. Now, if we go back to the virtual machine, we should not be able to execute that ping. So let's try this again. And you can see that failed totally. So we have achieved, we have a new network and we successfully segmented our one virtual machine on this network from others. Now you're like, great, but I actually want to allow access between networks. And so let me just walk through, let's say, for example, you did want to allow our new VLAN test network to communicate with the NAS network. So what we can do, again, I'll go back to the networks page just to show. And let's just say we have VLAN test, which now can't talk to anything else here. And let's say we want to allow it to communicate with the NAS network, but nothing else. This is where we're going to need to set up another rule. This is where the complexity comes in when you add additional networks to your configuration. Like I talked about in the last video, it's really a trade-off that you need to decide for yourself. But let's go back and we're going to create a new entry and we'll say allow VLAN test to access NAS. So the source of the traffic is going to be anything on the VLAN test network. So again, as you add devices to this network, this rule will apply to all of them. So we'll say save, and the destination will be, it's going to be a local network, and we'll select the network as NAS. And the direction will be source to destination. We'll allow this to be always. You can actually schedule these rules to only allow access at certain times. This is super helpful, especially if you want to turn off, say, your kid's internet access. All right, so we have this other rule. Now that ping that just failed before, this should work. And you can see it still doesn't work. So obviously I made a mistake. I could have edited this out and made it all beautiful, but I think this highlights one of the rules, not one of the rules, but one of the difficulties when it comes to setting up and managing firewall rules. You can easily make mistakes and you really need to test them. I just made a super simple mistake and I want to show you the mistake I made. So I'm going to go back to the rule. I wonder if any of you caught it while I was setting up the rule. So I set the rule to allow VLAN test to access NAS. Awesome. I set the action to block. The default action on the rule was set to block and I didn't catch it when I set it up. It should have been set to allow. So again, now imagine you're managing a bunch of these, you set them up, and if you don't go through and test it, you'll be left with a headache or people yelling at you. So let's see if I got this right. Oh, there we go. It worked. All right, so that is how you set up a new network and then how you set up firewall rules to manage access to that network. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a second. All we've talked about is wired networks. How do I extend everything you did to wireless networks? Well, let's take a look at that now. So going back, remember we have defined this new VLAN test network. This does not exist on your wireless access points. Now, if you are familiar with the UDM, you know this very well by now. But if you're new, now you need to kind of expose this through your Wi-Fi setup. And so the way we do this is go over to the Wi-Fi tab, all the network names I have set up, and we're going to create a new one. Now, each network you set up is associated with, I'm going to say a network, but let's just say a VLAN. And so we'll call this the VLAN test Wi-Fi thing and Wi-Fi name. Put a password on it, and here is where you associate it with the network. And there you go. And you hit add Wi-Fi network and you're off and running. Any device that connects to the VLAN test network after it is set up and saved will be on the VLAN test network with an IP address of 192.168.7, something else, just like we saw before. Now, I'm not going to click add on this because it causes a blip in the Wi-Fi as it deploys a new network, and I'm sure that'll cause screams from somewhere else in the house, so I'm just going to pause on that for now. Now, there's one other thing we need to touch on since we're talking about VLANs and Wi-Fi, and that is you need to be careful about the port configuration of your Wi-Fi access points. And so to explain what's happening, let's go back here to the virtual machine we had set up in kind of our first example. We have configured this port to be on the VLAN test network, which is great. Roughly speaking, what's behind the scenes, I'm gonna get some of the details a little off, so just bear with me. When that virtual machine over here sends a packet, it's gonna be received by this switch, and the switch is gonna see like, oh, okay, I need to add a VLAN tag to the Ethernet frame before I send it out. And so it's like, well, what should I add? And it's like, okay, well, I know this port is configured for VLAN 55, so I'm going to add that to the frames. Now, I know there's an asterisk that doesn't happen in all cases, but just bear with me. So great. So when that virtual machine is sending traffic, the switch is smart enough to see this configuration, add the right tagging information for the VLAN, and everything works great. Now think about what happens in the case of a Wi-Fi access point. You can have, and let's go back to the Wi-Fi configuration, because you saw I have a whole bunch of wireless networks, and all of these are actually on different VLANs. You're like, wait a second, okay, you have all these networks, but you have your wireless access point connected to one port. And you can see the problem. If you have a port configured, like I just described, that's not going to work, because I just said this port and the switch will smartly add all the right tagging information for this VLAN as traffic is flowing through it, but we don't want that. We need to support many networks and VLANs on our wireless access point. So how do we do that? So let's take a look at a port carrying a Wi-Fi access point. So we will just switch to the Dream Machine itself. And here we have an access point. So if we look at the switch configuration, you can see it is set to the internal network, which basically means it can carry all of the traffic, all the VLANs and all the networks. And this is the important point. For your access points, you need to configure them. If you want your access points to be able to carry all of the networks you've defined, you need to set the port up in this way and put it on the internal, effectively untagged network. Otherwise, you just won't be able to carry all of the networks you have defined. Now, again, you don't have to do this. You actually can restrict this and say, look, this access point is only going to carry this VLAN. That's fine. That's a more advanced configuration, and you can go down that path if you want to. And that's it for today. Hope you found this useful and learned a little bit about how to configure networks on your Dream Machine. And let me know if you have any questions below in the comments, and we'll see you next time.